Welcome back to episode 8 of AyyScare Plays Front Office Football 8, Season 2. In case you missed last episode, we went 8-8 and we missed the playoffs. Kind of similar to what we've seen going on. Our rushing game was struggling. Here it says we were third in passing, but that's kind of deceptive. So just to touch on that for a second here. Our rushing game was horrendous, but Bart Hines threw more interceptions than touchdowns. And on top of that, we were first in pass attempts in the league. And if we look under here, you'll see Bart Hines had the most attempts. This guy did have about 20 less than him, but then next down it's like another 20. So like we easily basically threw basically 40 more times than any other team, basically. So I think the real question here becomes is what do we do with Bart Hines, right? And in the comments, I got an answer that Bart Hines doesn't appear to be the answer. So I am going to say that I agree with that. I think that Bart Hines has done decently, and I think that he will start somewhere in the league. But I think that, especially because he took such a low deal for us, I think that we're going to be better off shipping him off and getting a trade or a good pick for him through a trade. So that's going to be one of the main focuses of this episode. As we've seen recently, our defense is still holding up strong. Our defense is on point, doing great. All right, so let's just go ahead and hop into this. Now, the other thing here, I think our head coach is still actually a really good head coach. I don't want to lose him, but I think we also need to switch out our offensive coordinator. We're going to kind of do a complete switch over here and get our offense looking a lot different. I am going to upgrade or keep our defensive coordinator. Our defense has been stellar, and our strength coach. Our strength coach has appeared to have done really well. Again, I don't look into the exact numbers of weight loss numbers and things like that, but in terms of we're not getting a lot of people on IR, which typically means our strength coach is doing decently. All right. So with that in mind, let's see what we can do to try to boost our offense here. Yep, our head coach is still our guy. All right, now here it says that we have the best option. I disagree. It says it's a smash mouth play style. That means that we should be running this ball at least better than 30th in the league. I think that's a fair comment. So let's switch this up. We can pull in this person who is next up. Let's take a quick look at their experience. Okay, they have not done great. They were overlooking Seattle, though. Let's go take a quick look at Seattle's team just to see what they were really working with here. So, in his defense, Seattle's team doesn't exactly look too great offensively. They don't have a quarterback anywhere. So, the fact that he was doing poorly there, it's not too concerning to me, but let's take a look at one or two of these other guys. Okay, this guy's kind of been a mixed bag too. He's been at Tennessee for his entire time though. Those are some decent bars, although I like play calling being higher than that. Yeah, let's go ahead and take this guy from Seattle and see if he can make something out of our team. All right, we're keeping our defense as is. All right, here it says we have the best option still with this guy. This guy's bars are not fantastic though, so let's just take a look here at a couple of options. I think our, let me see here. Can I see what my new guy is in here already? he's spread, which means, just to make 100% sure, offensive philosophy. In this game, spread means... Wait, he's spread, right? I already forgot what I said. I think I said spread. Yes, spread. Okay. So spread means... little bit of everything, not much power running, and basically more on like the short end of passing. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, I think that I would prefer to keep, if we're going to do a offensive assistant coach, I would want somebody that does something similar. So believe it or not, I actually might take this really young linebacker coach because he plays the same defensive play style that we're already running. I think our head coach is secondary. Our defensive coordinator is defensive line. So this would really solidify our defense. So let's go ahead and do that. So I didn't feel like there was a great offensive upgrade there for coaching. All right. Let's take a quick look. We do not have much money going into this year, which was kind of expected because we had a lot of players that were paying decent salaries too. Let's take a quick look here though. Really good. Don't want to drop him. He's done well for us. Don't want to drop. Don't want to drop. Don't want to drop. Okay. So top players here. We could look at... Oh, wait. We're looking at Seattle. Gosh, I wasn't even looking at their names. I was just going down the list. Okay. That would explain it. Because I thought that this was going to be Rose. When I clicked on him, and I'm like, wait a second. Denver Drovers. There we go. Okay. Tackle, we probably need to keep. This tight end is still doing really well for us, so we're going to keep him. Guard, really high rated. Bart Hines, we are probably going to try shipping out, so we'll see that shortly. This defensive end did really well for us. Far safety, Wayne Lee, he's probably going to be with us as a permanent player on our team. I think that he's proven himself year over year to just be absolutely great. I mean, he's basically put up 90 plus tackles past 3 seasons. Even before that, he had 2 really good seasons and gets a couple of interceptions for us. And overall, just could not be happier with him. He's a 56. He's a 58, so we'll keep both of them. Mo Rose is probably at the point that we should just go ahead and drop him. He is definitely getting paid a lot to do a little. Okay, I think that we're good in terms of that's the main guy that needed to be cut. And he had been on the chopping block the past couple of episodes, and I just kept dragging him along. So I'm actually happy that we were able to go ahead and clear that situation. All right. So first thing we're going to do once we begin free agency here. But real quick, do I need to franchise anyone? That's a good question. No, nobody here is worth franchising. Okay. All right. We should actually have a decent draft pick this year. Let's see where we're at. 16th. Okay, so right in the middle of the pack. And let's start out things by seeing what we can potentially get for Bart Hines. I think teams will definitely be interested in him, especially because he's not super expensive. Philadelphia is the most interested. Real quick, because I don't remember how it's built out in this. Is Philadelphia in our division? They shouldn't be, but Denver, and I'm talking about Philadelphia. No, that actually seems like a really good potential position. So let's Philadelphia. Let's see what draft. They have 9th overall. They're probably not paying that for Bart Hines, although they might. Honestly, they might. Let's see. Okay, they're not going to do that. What if I throw in my 3rd round pick? All right, throw in my 2nd round pick. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's a top 10 pick, so they're expecting quite a bit from that. Let's see. What did we spend on Bart Hines? He was 3rd overall, right? Yeah, he was. Okay. And how old is he? He's 30. So he still has he could easily still have another 5 years in the league or something like that. I think lowest I would do is this high 2nd. You're close to fair, which in this game is always a little questionable in terms of what they mean by that. I'll throw in my 6th rounder. I'll throw in my 5th rounder. I feel like I'm giving up too much at that point. All right, who else was interested in this player? Let's back up. Green Bay and Seattle. And once again, let me just make sure they're not Green Bay, Seattle. Okay, neither of them are in my thing, so let's go ahead and see. They have 4th overall pick, and Seattle has 4th overall pick? Huh? 4th overall, and Green Bay had am I like too tired for this? What the heck? So they had 4th overall, Green Bay. Seattle had 4th overall. Okay, let me reopen this window. All right, so this says it's almost like this thing's not updating or something. Am I missing something here? Okay, there we go. Now it seems to be updating. So Green Bay is 4th overall pick. Cool. And then if I now look at Seattle, all right, something's weird here. Now I don't even know which team I'm trading with. All right, let's try this one more time. Let's try to trade with Green Bay. Sean Tanner. Is that on Green Bay? Sean. Okay, so we are looking at Green Bay here. Looks like they do have 4th overall pick. I would take their 2-3 here. They say we're not even close. What does that draft look like? There are 2 decently high quarterbacks. Let me see if he would do this. So I'm giving him a 1st rounder. He is giving me a top 5 pick. But, wow. I'm not going to lie. If I was them, I would probably take that deal. But, okay. The CPUs in this game tend to be really stringent on what they're willing to pay for players. He's not even willing to give up a 2nd rounder. So in that case, I think that we just almost have to keep Bart Hines and hope that we get a young quarterback to train up here. Mike Knight, I actually want to try to re-sign him. He did interestingly as our backup. Rod Parrish, was this our 2nd round pick last year? Yeah, it was. He might have some potential, but not for this season. All right. All right, Bart Hines, we're keeping you for now, but we're going to see where this all ends up. Let's try to get some players re-signed here. All right. Tight end here. Let's negotiate him. He's a very good tight end, so that's fine for us. Okay. Tackle, nose tackle. The guard we're losing, but he's old. This corner, I do want to re-sign him. The center, we're going to give him an additional 1-year offer. This inside linebacker, we got to re-sign. All right, so we have to pay a couple of players here. I'm not going to worry about the punter. Although this punter's actually done, I think, first team a couple of times, right? He was second team 2 years ago. His bars are actually pretty darn good. Okay. Oh, and he's super cheap. Okay, cool. How's his kicker been doing? Kicker has actually been doing fine. He's not a huge long distance kicker, but he seems to be very reliable, so we'll keep him for now. We know the Bart Hines situation. This guy we definitely need to keep. Ooh, up to $38 million for an outside linebacker. So he's asking to become the top paid in the league. I think that's worth it. I mean, look at those bars. He's putting up basically 80 tackles a season, plus 7 sacks, multiple hurries, multiple quarterback knockdowns. So far, he's increased every single season, basically across the board. We're going to pay him. All right. We definitely do not have the money for Bart Hines to do a re-signing, but I don't... Yeah, now he's asking for a crap ton of money. I'm not paying him that anyway. So, that is... I feel like our team is pretty actually decent here. We're not going to have any money for free agency. We're going to have to do everything through the draft. Just out of curiosity, let me look at the gray sheet, though. Ooh, Bubba Brock, who I mentioned last episode, is available here. We definitely do not have the money for him. Even if I dropped our guy, I mean, he's not asking for a crazy amount, but he actually would be a really nice addition, I'm not going to lie. Let me see here. Let me pull up my franchise player salaries. So he's asking for basically a top 5 salary. Here's the big difference though, right? If you look at him, he has had decent quarterback rating. He throws more touchdowns than interceptions. That is one of the huge keys here that I'm looking at. He's not a huge passing guy though. Like, he's only had 3 total 300 passing yards. But is that a problem with Kansas City and not him? Let's see. It doesn't look like, now obviously I can't really look at this in retrospect, but it doesn't look like he's had the best receiving core. So, oh no, that's not true. Look at this. He had this guy up here that I missed. Okay, so he actually has had probably a better receiving core than I'm going to offer him. That actually might not be true. I would say we're probably even. But again, I'm not going to be able to afford him either way. So let's go ahead and look at the draft. So right now it's 16th. Actually, let me do this. Let me run through a couple rounds of free agency, especially once Bubba Brock goes off the board, and see. There's Bubba Brock. He went to Tampa Bay with a new guard and a new tackle. He signed for $180 million for 3 years. which is actually way more than he was asking for. Okay. Now that he is gone, is there any other quarterback that's worthwhile on here? One other guy that's supposed to go in the 7th round. Ooh, man, 2 years ago was rough, man. We'll let him go off the board and then see if any teams are more interested in Bart Hines. Oh, wait, Mike Knight. It's a good thing I caught that. I want to try to re-sign him. He's our backup that's actually done decently. I'll pay you an extra $1 million to stick around, because there is a slight chance you're going to be my starting quarterback. All right. All right, sweet. He re-signed with us. That's actually huge. That guy re-signed. Okay. So now the quarterback situation has settled down a little bit. Let's reshop our guy, Bart Hines. I should say it's the same group. Let's see what a team like Las Vegas would be willing to pay for him. Las Vegas Bandits. Okay, they don't have a crazy high draft pick, so they might be willing to work with me a little bit. I'll give you guys Bart Hines and a 4th rounder for your first. Not close. All right. I'll throw in a 3rd rounder and a 6th rounder. Not very close. Okay. Well, let's say we're sticking with Bart Hines then. All right. So with that in mind, the one other thing that we could do is, if we really, really like one of these top quarterbacks, we could try trading Bart Hines to a quarterback needy team. So as an example, AQU, is that Albuquerque? I always forget. Yeah. All right. They have a really good quarterback. He's going to come back from injury, though. So I don't see them going quarterback. Miami and then Indianapolis. Miami does not have a real quarterback. They have this guy, but they're probably not going to stick with him. Yeah, they will probably go a quarterback, if I had to guess. So Miami goes a quarterback, and then Indianapolis is up next. Yep, here's another. Okay, so those two teams will probably go quarterback. So what I could potentially do is I could do some kind of big deal to Indianapolis for like being able to draft Eric Wells, if Eric Wells looks like a better option here. Let's do a couple of interviews. So we will interview both top quarterbacks. He looks very promising. And Eric Wells, not as promising. Okay. So that's good to know. So let's see. So at that point, I don't see us trading up in the draft then. Desmond Fisk will almost certainly go 2nd overall. So let's just go ahead and scoot down a little bit here to something that we're going to have a more realistic chance of going. So we have 2 young wide receivers. We have, I forget their names right off the top of my head, but Malcolm Picton, he's 4 years in the league. We have Everett Rides, who's 5 years in the league. And then we also have Jalen, who is 3 years in the league. So I don't think using 16th overall on another wide receiver is what we should do. What does the game say we need right now? Just out of curiosity. Game says we need a defensive tackle and a running back. Running back is definitely true. Defensive tackle, I don't know what it is. I always disagree with this game a little bit on the defensive tackle situation, because right now I have like 2 in here that are above 50. That being said, I don't know. I guess you can never have, like, even if I had like 4 defensive tackles that were all above 50, I feel like this game would still say I need a defensive tackle. Just out of curiosity. So if I look here, All right, so it says Washington specifically needs a defensive tackle. Let's go look at what Washington has real quick. Okay, there I would definitely agree that they need a defensive tackle. It also says Houston and New England need defensive tackles. Houston. See, I feel like, Houston they're in a similar situation as I am. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let's see. So this is a pretty defensive heavy top of the draft, to be honest. We could potentially go with a tackle. We have a... Oh, wait, we're not looking at our team. Blah, blah, blah. We have a young right tackle that's a 52, and then Riley Hines, who is a really good left tackle. That being said, we don't have much offensive line depth, which if you do look at some of these other teams, you'll see that they definitely have a little bit more offensive line depth than we have. You'll see that a lot of their top 20 are a little bit more offensive line heavy than what we have. So, with that in mind, take a look at this right. I don't think it's Barstow. Let's go at this guard. Considered underrated. Sure, we'll mark him. Right, now, there are two quarterbacks down here that actually are going to be probably within a realistic range for us. Let's go ahead and interview both. Very overrated, not what I wanted to see. And Sam Finks. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of his bars, but let's see. Very overrated. Okay, well, that made it pretty straightforward. Let's take a look at these two running backs then. Very overrated. I'm not sure if we're getting very overrated because right now our coaching staff is a little bit defensive heavy, which is something that's worth noting here. This guy's bars look good, and he's underrated. Herb Carpenter. He looks like our target, and he's considered running back 3. Even here he's running back 3. So I don't see 3 running backs going off the board. That tends to be a position where you can typically get some decent value later on in the draft. That being said, let's also look at this guy. I don't think it's Barstow. All right, so Herb Carpenter. We are hoping that he falls to us. If not, though, the one guard we like is technically the best guard in the draft. So let's take a look at 1 or 2 other players here. Second best guard. Considered overrated, but his bars are really nice, not gonna lie. And let's then also look at one of these corners. There's a number of corners, so we could walk away with a highly rated corner, which, again, I don't feel like our defense really needs a first-round draft pick, but this is such a defensive-heavy draft. That guy's bars are actually nuts. Where is he on the adjusted rating? Oh, he's the top wide receiver. Okay, that explains it. Yeah, because I feel like 3 corners going off before 16 would be realistic, especially looking at this draft. So let's look at these guys. Really like this Don Vining. Considered overrated, though. We are just getting every single overrated player this interview cycle. Cody Wells is actually, those are some pretty nice bars. Considered overrated. Okay. And let's see, we are about to use every single option here on first round, but I feel like this first round pick is really important for us this year. So let's look at a couple more options here. That guy's bars are not that awe-inspiring. No. Okay, now we're getting too far down. One of these quarterbacks could be a decent, 3rd round pick, though. go look at somebody like this. Overrate it. Okay. All right, we have to be really careful with this last pick or last interview. I'm really, really hoping that Herb Carpenter falls to us. I'm just worried that he's not, and then I don't think the guard's going to fall to us that we interviewed. Ugh. All right, this corner looks of interest. Okay, that is at least a great other option for us. All right, this first round pick is going to be very, very interesting. All right, let's see what we got here. Begin draft. First team here, Albuquerque should not be going Desmond Fisk, but you never know. Yep, they went a wide receiver for their decent quarterback, so that's kind of what I was expecting. This will probably be Desmond Fisk, though. Miami, there he goes, Desmond Fisk. And then second overall team, I think, was Indianapolis. Yep, and they will probably go the other quarterback. No, they go a safety. Now, I'm not going to reach for Eric Wells anyway, but it's interesting that he did not go there. All right, Green Bay. They went Eric Wells. Okay. All right, we'll speed it up a little bit here. I'm going to keep it just on fast here for this first round, though. There goes a corner. There goes a tackle. There goes a corner. California goes running back, so that's one running back off the board. It's definitely possible the other running back that I like, who's technically third rated, goes second, though. Yeah, a lot of defensive linemen are available this draft up at the top. Another wide receiver just went. Pittsburgh goes the guard I was looking at. Okay. Dallas goes a corner. Okay. This means that we do have the option between the two guys, and I think the answer is obvious, so we have to go to the running back. But let me just take one quick look here. Yeah, we have these three young corners who should be able to hold down our secondary. We have to get the running back. We just have to. Herb Carpenter, you are joining Denver. Denver Drovers. When did that cornerback go? It looked like he went late in the first. He went 22nd, so it's like, what, 5-6 picks after me? Okay. All right. So now that we have him. Interesting. I don't remember seeing that guy on the board. I wonder if I just skipped this guy. This guy actually looks like a very interesting prospect, to be honest. Especially a guy that we could plug in for like a year or two. He focuses on long passes, though, which is the opposite of what our offensive scheme is. I don't think, yeah, nobody else is listed here that we've had. So let's do this then. Okay, good. Running back is already in here. Highly rated. Love it. We need offensive weapons. That's the only slots that we need to fill. Okay. So with that in mind, do I just go ahead and nab another top-rated player? Like, these bars look nuts for a defensive end. Now, I don't know if he's still there because other teams don't like him or just other teams feel like they don't need a defensive end. We have a number of good defensive ends, but defensive ends tend to be something that, this guy's only about a 50% endurance, so that is potentially of concern. 55 endurance, 34 endurance, and 66 endurance. So I feel like if we pick this guy, he's not going to get a lot of start time. Like, even these guys didn't get much start time. So let's not do that. Do we go with the tackle that's on the board? Nose tackle. I don't think we do it. I didn't exactly like his bars. Not a huge fan of that guy's bars either. All right, let's just nab one of these tackles. Let's get another like young, hopeful guy on our line. I think I actually like this guy's bars the most. He's a little bit further down than everybody else. He's a little bit less developed, but he should be a backup this year anyway. So we're going to take a tackle. Let's sort by grade now for a second here. Bunch of linebackers we can choose from. Here's a guard. His bars aren't that interesting to me, though. This nose tackle is still available. Again, I'm not a huge fan of his bars. I don't think that he's the answer. This guy's still sitting here, and we're now at 3rd round. So I'm going to go ahead and nab him. Because again, Bart Hines is looking like he's going to be starting for us this year unless he now holds out on us. So, but I'm not planning to re-sign him unless something nutty happens this year. So you nabbed him. Let's take a look at some tight ends, especially if we can get like a blocking tight end. That guy's actually really looking good. So is he actually. Yes, his top 2 looked very decent for a, what are we in, 4th round tight end? Wow, this guy as a blocking tight end, or a receiving tight end, actually looks really decent for how late he's going. But right now I'm more interested in getting that blocking, which I think I'm going to get by this guy. So we'll go ahead and nab him. Let's take a look if there are any like super speedy wideouts or something that might have slipped. This guy actually has a really high strength rating. Those bars are actually somewhat decent. And whoever we get here would really just probably be complementing what we already have. This guy actually has not great bars, but for a 5th round wide receiver, I'm not opposed to those bars. We go with a really big wide receiver like this guy. His bars aren't looking too good though. This guy is really good in endurance and special teams, so he might be able to become like our punt returner. But other than that, his bars don't look that great. I think this guy's bars are the most standout in my opinion. But it looks like we could probably get him next pick. Let's look at another young running back then. That's actually a pretty decent option because he has good blitz pickup. And then he has the receiving ability. It's not great receiving ability, but this guy could definitely become our 3rd down back. He's also good at 3rd down running. I actually really like this guy. Let's go ahead and nab him. All right, that wide receiver is still there, as is that tight end. Let's go ahead and nab him and then hope the tight end remains. He does. Sweet. All right, that actually, I don't know how many of those are going to be hits, but that should have just locked in a lot of positions that we need it. Cool, so we just need long snapper, and we basically have no money anyway, so running back's up there, that tackle's up there. Everybody else is pretty darn low on this list. That being said, we didn't interview any of them. This really became a draft of me just trying to fill in slots that we needed, which is never a great way to go about it, but when your team's low on money, you do what you got to do. All right, big question. Bart Hines is not holding out on us, at least not yet, which is very important. All right. Pick ourselves up a long snapper. This guy looks decent. We'll give him enough that he definitely will sign with us. And again, we're going to need to go into the season with a little bit of money because we don't want to lose future draft picks by going under. All right, we got him. A pretty uneventful offseason in all things considered here. Right. Training camp. Simulate our exhibition matches. Right? Cool. Let's make 100% sure that we are not dealing with a holdout. I'm worried about that with Bart Hines. It doesn't look like he is, which is nice of him. Thank you, Bart Hines. Riley Hines is injured again, but he should be back. Okay, where's our young running back at? Okay, cool. Definitely downgraded a little bit, but those bars still look absolutely beautiful. All right, we'll simulate week 1. We take the W, simulate through like week 3, and then take a look here. Philadelphia beat us. And we're now going up against Baltimore. Baltimore takes W on us. Okay. Now, if it's anything like previous seasons, we've seen that our defense kind of kicks in partway through the season. Let's see. Okay, so first and foremost, Bart Hines got injured. So that's not good. Mike Knight has stepped in as our starter for 1 game, so that could explain. It looks like he also has an extreme conflict. Frankie Durgan, who's that? One of our guys. He's not even worth dealing with a pissed off team, to be honest. All right, this is where we're actually dealing with a number of conflicts that I did not anticipate. Let's take a quick look here. Devin Baxter. This guy's a piece of crap. We're releasing him. That's fine. I'll pay your injury clause just to get the chemistry back on this team going. This guy doesn't like Keith Shaw. Who is that? Actually, it should say right here. Yep, you are also going to get cut then. What's this guy? Okay, he's only with us this year. We're cutting him. I want to get rid of all of these conflict problems. He now has an extreme conflict with Jesse Devine, who I probably can't drop. So that's going to be is what it is. We hopefully fixed up some of our problems. All right. We know that we're facing it. Oh, this is our bye week, so hopefully our quarterback will be back after this, actually. All right. Let's give it like 3 weeks and see how things are looking. We lost to Buffalo. We lost to, who was that, Miami? Yep. We beat California. We're sitting here at 2-4. Now that Bart Hines is back, again, not doing too great. How is our young running back doing? Not terribly. I'm not going to say he's doing great, but he's doing all right. Let's look at team summary. Yes, our defense is back to like middle of the pack, and our offense is actually, to be honest, both of us are kind of in the middle of the pack right now. I think that we need to see our quarterback, Bart Hines, step up to the plate, make sure that he proves that he is worth a contract after this season. Our young wide receiver is stepping up now. He's definitely leading our receiving core, which is awesome. Rides is a great alternative, though. Okay. All right. Let's keep it rolling. All right, we took the W there up against Kansas City. So 2 big back-to-back games, and we took the W. Those were both 2 high-scoring games for us, too. Let's take a look at that team summary again after that. Okay, Bart Hines actually is at 10 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, which is a much better ratio than we've seen in the past. And our receiving core is looking good. Carpenter is taking the majority of the snaps at running back, which is also awesome. Okay, all right. We'll see how things stabilize here. Are we facing any major injuries? We do have a number of players down here on IR, so that guy is dealing with something. He should be back. He should be back. Broken arm, but it's looking like he should be back. Okay, so if we can make it the next couple of weeks to look like we're making a playoff run and we don't suffer any other major injuries, we actually are looking pretty decent. Our offensive line is a little bit battered up, but this guy's just a viral infection. Okay. All right. I'm liking this. Let's see how this ends up. We're up against New Jersey, and they took the W on us there. There we go. I think that's the first time I've seen us with our defense holding the team to single digits. This is where our defense is starting to step up big again. There, our offense tanked. Did we lose somebody? Doesn't look like it. Okay. We lost to Tennessee. We're at 5-7. It means our playoff chances are already not pretty, but yeah, so we're only looking at a 7% chance of playoffs at all. So we basically have to completely win out. So here we go up against Washington. They take the W on us. Bart Hines is done. Bart Hines is done. Final game of the season. We finished at 6-10. Bart Hines is over. The guy is not getting re-signed on our team, and we are going to have to figure out our path forward without him. It's good to know, though. The fact that we finished 6-10, I think it just proves that Bart Hines is officially not the answer, and we can now easily go into our next season with filling that gap on our mind. Bowl game of the year, we have Baltimore against Los Angeles. Whoa, Los Angeles takes it 6-3. Talk about a crazy defensive bowl game there. All right, save real quick. Let's take a quick look at what happened here. I mean, that is without a doubt a disappointing outcome. Bart Hines played in the majority of the games. He had a better quarterback rating than he did last year, but still, I mean, it's ridiculous. Mike Knight came in as our backup, threw 8 interceptions to 1 touchdown. So happy we put him on a 1-year deal because he obviously is not a valid answer either. Carpenter did end up averaging 4.23, or basically 4.3 yards. So he's looking up. Our receiving core, I think, is very, very above average. I think is the best way to word it. Our defense definitely struggled a little bit, but again, when your team's throwing more interceptions and fumbling the ball, like here you can see our team fumbled the ball 29 times. Like, you can't even begin to think about how, we were worst in turnovers. Like, you can't even begin to blame your defense when that's your offensive situation. So, with that in mind, we know what we have to work on next year. Before we jump off of this episode, I'll just look here. Nothing here stands out as somebody that should have made Pro Bowl. I can't imagine anybody here did. It's possible that somebody like an offensive lineman or something like a kicker did. So let's go take a quick look. Season awards. One of our defensive tackles actually made first team. Let's go take a quick look at him. Okay, he did put up 53 tackles, which is high for a nose tackle. And then he also put up 7 sacks, 18 hurries. So, okay, that is fair. That sounds good to me. Real quick, just out of curiosity. If we come here to individual statistics and receiving. Okay, yeah, so there were a number of players this year that put up 1,000 yards. As a reminder, last year I think it was, only 2 players did. Or no, 4 players did. Okay. But, so it looks like the receiving cores are a little bit more in line with what I was expecting. How many 1,000-yard rushers were there? There were only 3. So, the fact that our rookie came in, our rookie didn't even play every game. He only played in 12, only started 7. So I think that he really is looking like a very good prospect for us. And our kicker tends to do well. Let's take a quick look at how he did. He was very middle of the pack this year. Okay. All right. That is fair as always. We did not have, I think as a team, we actually did pretty decently in sack numbers, but, I say that, we actually didn't really have that many players on this list. So let's take a quick look. Because I would expect our, let's see here, lineman, is that what I'm looking for? Passing defense, opposing lineman, sacks allowed. I know we were actually pretty low on how many sacks we got on our opponents. So that actually is interesting to me because I feel like our front 7 is really highly rated. So the fact that we struggled that much getting to their quarterback is a little bit worrisome. But again, our offense was struggling so badly that I don't think that we can blame our defense right now. All right. Well, as always, thank you so much if you stuck around to the end. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. Till then, AyyScare out.